All right, MMA Maniacs, it's time once again for your weekly MMA podcast brought to you from the Rudloff Family Inc. studios. We are called Split Decision. You can find us on Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, of course, iTunes. Get us at our website, splitdecisionmma.com. Find us on Instagram and Twitter, SD_MMA, and of course on Facebook, which is Split Decision MMA Podcast. What are you doing?
That's to our
sound engineer
guy.
radio.
Taking notes.
Radio over there.
Taking notes.
Radio.
Hey, a big congrats out to Rolando, who's been on the show a few times. He won last night at TachiPalace 23, right?
Yep.
That's very, very cool. Do you know how he won?
Unanimous decision.
Got a big UD over there, so congratulations, Rolando. And we'll look forward to having him back on the show at some point soon. Got to go over some things today, some news, and of course the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight is a big thing that we have to go over. Still, I feel like it was a month ago. Talked about it so much this week.
Everybody has.
And check out Americana.rocks. That's ROCKS. And you can check out the apparel they have there for sale. You can find Killer Kelly's shirt, among other really cool things to buy. And Fatty likes to throw in a grab bag of discounts if you put in SDMMA, and you can get something off of your clothes. Or he might even charge you more. That would be funny to do.
Just keep entering the code until it goes down.
Exactly. Congratulations, you're paying 5% more.
Let's clamp for discount.
Yeah.
Add 20%.
So Bueller and Dodge on the mic's going to give you some news. Going to jump into, of course, the big thing, which is Twitter reacting to Mayweather and Pacquiao.
Yeah, first of all, what did you think of the fight?
I was bored.
Bored? Did you fall asleep like Chael Sonnen?
I thought I was going to, but that's because I drank a lot. Honestly, I mean, we all talked about this last week, saying it was going to be Mayweather kind of running away and doing his pitter-patter boxing style against Pacquiao.
Yep.
We all kind of predicted how it was going to be.
And
I
that's
think
how it be.
Seeing it unfold over 12 rounds, though, really brought
Upsetting.
the harsh reality of how boring that is.
Chael Sonnen says the fight reminds him of the Kentucky Derby, and that the favorite horse runs away from all the other horses at the same time.
He has a way with words.
I mean, there was quite a bit on Twitter, obviously with a lot of MMA personalities and fighters out there saying, obviously stop running, that Sean McCorkle is one of my favorites. Even Johnny Bones Dash Cam has not seen as much hit and run action.
Beautiful.
You got Tanya Marie saying someone should have told Mayweather before the fight last night that you're supposed to hug your wife and punch the other guy in the ring, not the other way around.
Yeah. There were some fun ones. There were some zingers.
Oscar De La Hoya says sorry to boxing fans. He says, call me old school, but I like the fans getting their money's worth by watching an action-packed fight.
That's what I was going to say. If they were out to prove that boxing was
dead
than UFC, I mean, it was terrible.
Yeah,
Everybody was saying boxing is dead. The real winner of the fight is MMA.
I took two things away from this fight. One was boxing had a very unique opportunity to really showcase the sport to new fans because everybody got this fight.
Everybody did.
And we all knew how the main event was going to go. And even with that being said, they should have stacked the undercard with explosive fights.
Big thing that I thought of. Having two fights in the undercard that mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
None of these guys are contenders. None of these guys are really that big of up-and-comers.
And they were
the
boring.
Boxing, and they weren't really... I mean, there were some good blows being thrown, and more than obviously the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, but I watched better fights last night on Golden Boy Productions on Fox Sports 1 for free.
We could watch better fights at the other place in Yosemite and Modesto, but, that being said, the other thing I took away from it was Floyd has this style that everybody's like, well, his style. You put two Floyds in the ring, you don't have a boxing match.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
That is a big problem. Like I said, he's going to go down as one of the most decorated boxers of all time, but in my opinion, probably one of the least respected by fans.
100%.
He's going to be respected for his skill and for his record, but as he's a boxer, not a fighter.
Right,
I mean, the guys are pissed off about the whole thing.
And boxing doesn't have a timidity rule.
No.
They
should.
And MMA does. And I grew up seeing fights every Saturday.
Yeah.
We watched fights I mean, none of this was out of... It was, if you watch boxing, you knew what this was going to happen. You tried to tell people before it even started that this is what was going to happen. I mean, even if his shoulder's okay,
but even
the punch count goes up. Yeah. But it's the same goddamn fight. It's going to be the same fight.
Like, look at Sugar Ray Leonard, who was great at avoiding damage, but at least he still got in there and threw. At least he would buckle down. Like when he fought Duran, he would get down in it. He knew that he wanted to do something. Right. I mean, you got guys like Roy Jones Jr., who was famous for being, clowning guys in the ring and being very elusive, but also one of the hardest punchers of all time. And there's boxers that have this style, but at least still go in to fight and put on a show. Yeah. Mayweather is not one of those guys.
I also think, to me, it felt like they already gave the fight to Mayweather, and it was up to Manny to make up.
Of course.
Yeah, he had to shock the world.
Yeah,
Manny had to shock the world, and obviously did not do that, especially with a hurt shoulder. But even so, like Dennis said, it probably would have gone the same way, just a higher punch count.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I did like the UFC's tweet, and then they also tweeted their trailer here. They said, "Mark your calendar, May 23rd. We bring the real action."
Yeah,
and that is for UFC 187, Johnson versus Cormier, and of course Chris Weidman against Vitor Belfort. Pretty smart of them.
Both fights are going to be more exciting, that's for sure.
Way more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's the difference is boxing is physical checkers, and MMA is physical
Human chess.
yeah, I mean, it is. There's so many more angles, so many more moves. You know, where two guys are just standing there. That's all they can do is just stand there and punch each other.
It would have been more fun if it was Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
But I'm just saying, I don't know. We're so evolved. Us as MMA people are so past that.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it was the next logical, evolution of that kind of physical sport where you challenge another, single person to a physical duel. It made sense to involve the kicks, to involve the takedowns, to involve the grappling and stuff like that. Boxing is its own thing. I understand that. And if you add that stuff into boxing, it's no longer boxing. But that also kind of proves that boxing is old and antiquated.
Right. Yeah, but so is fencing. But
still in the Olympics.
I can't. Are you kidding me? I can't wait for that fencing match this Saturday.
Still in the Olympics. The UFC released
that French guy up against that Swedish guy.
Yep,
it's going to be fantastic.
Once they add weapons to UFC.
UFC has released 4 more fighters from the roster. Seth Baczynski is gone. Damn. Justin Jones, King Carrazzo, Carrascosa, and Marcin Bandel all gone after
Kaiser Soze, I think, is what that is.
Is that what that one is? Yeah.
King Carrascosa.
All of them have been cut from the roster. They're saying it's getting harder and harder to stay in the UFC. Luckily, there's lots of places they can go, as we've seen with Melvin Gillard. Melvin Gillard signed with Bellator MMA over this past
predicted
weekend.
last week.
We talked about this. It's definitely one of the things that he wanted to do anyway.
He's got to be able to. He's got to make money. Coker obviously believes he can make some money off this guy.
He said, "We are excited to have Melvin coming on board." He said, "With competitors the likes of the lightweight champion Will Brooks, Chandler, Marcin Hell, Derek Anderson, Sadawad, Dave Jansen, and Patrick Ray Pitbull on the roster. I think the matchup possibilities are exciting for him."
Melvin's going to be really disappointed when he gets over there and finds out that Coker is the name of the guy who runs the company and not what they give to the fighters. Just saying.
Then we have some news with George Masvidal. George Masvidal is moving up to, I believe, middleweight is what they have here. Yeah, or excuse me, yeah. Is going to move up.
Interesting.
After his loss, or excuse me, moving to welterweight from lightweight to welterweight after his loss against Alaquenta, he's decided to move weight classes.
Because he feels like he was robbed.
Feels like he was robbed against the Alaquenta fight.
Okay.
Other news: we have Nick Diaz. Come to find out that someone did some research onto the test that he had to pass following his bout with Anderson Silva at UFC 183. He had to take 3 drug tests. He passed 2 of them and failed the final one for marijuana.
That's 60%. That's a D.
He's still passing.
D's passing.
66% is passing. That just means that the magic urine he bought at the head shop down the street worked 2 out of 3 times. Because he was not high.
66% of the time, it works all the time.
He's saying that he has also filed a complaint in the Nevada State Athletic Commission. They're going to, I believe, hired a legal team to go up against the Nevada State Athletic Commission to find out if there's any wrongdoing or anything that had happened to his testing. He's also saying that he wants to fight Anderson Silva again, but in Pride rules with yellow cards in a ring.
Okay, I want the yellow card really bad in the UFC.
I think, yeah.
What this doesn't say is that he passed 2 out of 3 of the drug tests, but one of them he was also pregnant.
Daniel Cormier was pulled out of his fight with Ryan Bader for UFC Fight Night 68, which is going down June 6th, to replace, obviously, John Jones to go up in the title fight against Anthony Johnson. So now the new main event, I actually really like this fight, is going to be Dan Henderson taking on Tim Boetch.
Very fun fight there.
I think that's an awesome fight.
Blue-collar brawler up against Hendo?
Yeah.
Good times there.
I think it's an awesome fight. There was one guy I was looking at, when they announced this on their Instagram, there was one guy that's like, "Thanks a lot, I fucking wasted my money." And then someone's like, "Did you pay for tickets?" "No, I was going to buy this." They're like, "It's free on Fox Sports 1. Shut up." And it's an awesome fight. Shut up.
Just get off the forum.
It's just, I think this is a great fight. What do you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Boetch Hendo?
Yeah.
I'm excited for that fight.
I mean, the only way this fight gets boring is if Henderson decides to Russell fuck him, but Henderson doesn't do that.
Hasn't been doing that lately.
No, he doesn't do that.
Does he say retirement tour somewhere on the card? Because we all know he's working his way out.
I think this is going to be a pretty good dirty boxing clinch battle.
Fucking Chris Weidman looks like Baby Huey in that picture.
Going on to Chris Weidman, he earned his black belt from Renzo Gracie and Matt Serra. He's been promoted. You excited for him?
Sure. Way to go, champ.
Yep. Gets another belt.
They just work it into his daily workout, huh?
Yeah.
Here, do
much.
these steps real quick. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see
Hey,
it.
black belt.
You're a black belt.
I'm pretty sure he had to do a little bit more than that, but he's.
No. I'm not trying to take it away from him at all. I mean, that's all those cats do all day.
It's not like Vanderlei Silva, who got a black belt for attempting a submission one time in a fight back in Pride.
Right, and they came in the ring. They're like, "Here's your black belt. You finally tried something."
Or like the 12th man catch potato.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Metamoris 6 is going to be online Saturday, May 9th. That is coming up. That is tomorrow. You can check this out. You're going to get to see Jeff Monson.
No fans, right? They're not letting any fans in. This is all going to be over TV.
I know it's only online.
Oh, really?
You can only view it online. We're going to get to see Josh Barnett against Roberto Abreu, Chael Sonnen against Bablu Soberol, Joe Lauzon, Clark Gracie against Roberto Satoshi. Allegedly on this was supposed to be Gabby Garcia going up against Mackenzie Dern, the only person to ever defeat her 6 years ago in Abu Dhabi. Which doesn't even make sense. How was it 6 years ago? It was 2015. Oh, first loss in 6 years. Excuse me, I can't read. I was like, 6 years ago? That doesn't even make sense.
I can do math. This doesn't work.
This doesn't work.
Whoever put those notes together needs to be fired.
Fire that guy.
This is the first time Gabby lost this year?
This year, yeah.
Fire.
First loss in 6 years. They were going to have a rematch at Metamoris. Apparently, this did not happen. They were unable to get it approved. You guys gonna watch this? You guys gonna watch this online?
No, I'm not gonna watch this online.
I'm definitely gonna watch the highlights that are posted on social networks.
And I'm definitely gonna wait till next week for you to give me the results.
All right. Real MMA fans here, folks. Real MMA fans. UFC has decided that they are going to do a overhaul of their Hall of Fame. I don't know if you saw this recently.
I did not see this.
This is kind of interesting. So what we're going to have is Dana White announced that after 2017, candidates will be chosen from categories, certain categories. They're necessarily not one for every category each year, but we are going to have now, let's see what it is here. We have the Modern Era Wing, the Pioneers Era Wing, the Contributors Wing, and the Fight Wing. These are the new wings of the UFC. So instead of just an overall, this is the UFC Hall of Fame, now we have this is the UFC Hall of Fame with these categories. Okay?
Got it.
So the Modern Era Wing.
My question then, and maybe you'll answer this, but I'm going to ask, can you be in more than one wing?
Yes.
The modern baby getting two wings.
Right? The Modern Era Wing will be those who made their professional MMA debut after November 17th, 2000. To be eligible, fighter must have either passed the age of 35 or have been retired for 1 calendar year. It is noted that active fighters past 35 are eligible but not preferable. That's Modern Era.
Okay.
You then have, and then that date is specific because that is the date in which the unified rules of MMA
That's what I figured in.
were adopted by the New Jersey State Athletic Commission and Control Board when they first started with the UFC. Pioneer Wing will be any fighters who debuted prior to that date. Anybody before 2000.
Perfect.
Contributors Wing are for non-fighters, individuals, groups of individuals who have made outstanding or historical contributions to the sport.
Oh, shit, so we can be in there.
Yep,
We
we're
can
there.
technically be in there. One of these, they said one of the big things
We
for
should see
this.
how many podcast episodes we have compared to every other MMA podcast.
There we go. We might be able to get in.
Maybe we could be in there for that.
We might be able to get in.
We have 500 shitty episodes.
No.
Contributors can be officials, referees, judges, trainers, commissioners, commentators, promoters, and others associated with the sport in a non-competitive role. And then, of course, you have the Fight Wing, which will honor the greatest fights in UFC history. And they are saying that they are trying to secure a location. In fact, as far as I know, they have a physical location to put one in Las Vegas.
I was going to say, let me guess, Las Vegas, but you ruined it.
Yeah.
was going to be fancy and sidekick.
No fancy.
I even heard the timpani drums.
They said one of the reasons for these categories is to remove criticism for the past two inductees. Charles Mascaluas, who started Tap Out Clothing Line, has been a key figure in the early days of the sport.
Oh, yeah.
And Stephan Bonnar, who have never held a UFC championship or was really a top contender, but a fight with Forrest Griffin can be argued as the most important fight in UFC history. That way they can have those two in the UFC Hall of Fame without there being much criticism, being like, well, why are they in there? But Jason Thacker, who is also on Ultimate Fighter 1, which you said you were going to put everybody from Ultimate Fighter 1 in, hasn't been seen since the show aired.
Yeah, he shouldn't be in there.
And they're saying that he could be in there. I mean, we've talked about this before. Who should be allowed? Should Chael be allowed? We were saying no. We were saying yes. We're going to use the Pete Rose.
If you let Chael in, you got to let Pete Rose in.
They're saying they're going to let Pete Rose in. There's rumors.
No, that's it. It's the same stuff every year.
It's rumors, man.
It's because of that shoe commercial he put out.
Hey, he was in the hall.
He was in the hall.
By this criteria, Royce Gracie, Ken Shamrock, Dan Severn, Randy Couture, Mark Coleman, Chuck Liddell, Matt Hughes, Tito Ortiz, and Pat Militek are going to be in the Pioneer Era Hall. Forrest Griffin is the lone Modern Era Hall fighter. Lewis would be in the contributors section. And, of course, the fight Griffin versus Bonnar would be in the final. This means that, however, eligible Griffin could be inducted in both because he's had fights with... He is in the modern era because he got put in, and he had one of the greatest fights, they're saying, with Bonnar, so he could be in both sections. They're saying Liddell and Vanderlei Silva, Ortiz versus Frank Shamrock, also would be eligible to put in multiple areas. However, they're saying there are some issues, obviously, with Vanderlei Silva and Frank Shamrock, who are at odds with the promotion.
Well, I mean, if they're at odds with the promotion because of paperwork and stuff like that, then that's one thing. But I think having your entire record tainted like Chael Sonnen, it's two different things. But
Vanderlei's entire record could be tainted too.
True.
Ultimately, it wasn't proven.
I think what's funny is that they decided to go ahead and make all these different wings to appease the fans. It's like, really, it's my fucking hall. I'll put whatever I want in there.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that I wanted to put. It's the last little bit of news here on this is the selections are going to be made annually by the UFC internally, in which Dana White is the leader of the panel. So he decides.
So we're definitely going to see some bias here.
This guy goes in. This guy doesn't go in.
Yeah, we're going to see
what we're doing.
We're like people like, is Tito Ortiz already in there?
Yeah.
Is he? Okay. I was going to say, because we're going to see people like Tito not go in there.
His big ass head's in there.
Yeah.
He's got his own wing.
No, it's funny because it's like he's going through the names. I'm thinking of like WWE dolls.
Yeah.
That they're going to be like stacking all over the place. And these guys are. I mean, they're going to make money for the rest of their lives off this.
Good. They should. They should get one of the person who does the wax museums at Madame Tussauds Wax Museum.
That'd be sweet,
wouldn't it? For like, especially for the fight wing, it'd be awesome.
Dude, especially if they put in like the first fight, Jared Jordal against what was the big guy's name?
Oh, and
the
like
big Samoan guy,
and like have like an injury
sumo
going on.
Yeah, he has the kick, and you see the tooth like coming out, and it's all wax. Like it'd be sweet.
It'd be awesome. You got a wax statue of Royce Gracie holding Chemo's hair and punching him in the face.
Right.
Pat Smith inventing ground and pound in UFC 2.
Yeah,
these are all great.
Shattering
images.
the guy's orbital socket with elbows.
If you guys do wax statues, we want credit.
And that's why we should be in the hall.
Yeah, you can just put one of our stickers up by the entrance. It's fine.
I will if they make a physical location. I will sticker bomb the shit out of that place.
No, we will not.
No. One of these guys will stop me.
Yeah.
Somebody who has our sticker may or may not decide that they want to put the sticker there. We have no control over that.
Exactly.
Business Insider magazine recently compiled a list of the 50 most dominant athletes alive. Ronda Rousey got number 1.
Like Floyd Mayweather's number 14.
Yeah. But
to be fair, he couldn't beat up anybody else on this list.
Most dominant athlete on earth currently right now. We have Ronda Rousey number 1, LeBron James number 2, Serena Williams number 3, Cristiano Ronaldo number 4, Usain Bolt number 5. The list goes on.
Based on her competition at her level of competition.
I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, this is just this year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, this could change.
Currently still alive.
Obviously could change next year.
Could change, yeah. John Jones made it to number 18.
I don't know why he's so low.
He's not going to fall either, because the judicial system's going to beat him, but not another fighter.
I'm surprised he's that low, honestly. I mean, he's just as dominant as Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. Actually, he has more fights, right?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Anthony Pettis is injured and out of his fight at UFC Fox 16. This was the co-main event. This is supposed to happen July 25th. However, Edson Barbosa has stepped up to face Miles Jury to be the co-main event. Remember, the main event is TJ Dillashaw against Renan Barao.
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys bummed? I mean, Anthony Pettis out against Miles Jury. I thought that was a good fight.
Yeah.
However, I think Barbosa is a good pick to go up against.
It's a great
Miles Jury.
pick. It's a fantastic pick. It's just, I mean, this card was a gift anyway.
Yeah, it
for
really
being
was.
free and as stacked as it was. I can't
really
be upset
was.
about that.
I think Jury's getting a little easier fight actually.
Yeah, I believe so too. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but
No,
it's
right,
easier
right.
than it was if it was Anthony Pettis. I agree. And then, of course, we have the big news that came out last week was the official Reebok sponsorship tier levels have been revealed, that they are no longer based on rank but on tenure. More about you have in the UFC, the higher the payout. They also including
It's not just the UFC; it's under the Zuffa banner, right?
Strikeforce and WEC fights held while under Zuffa count. So not before, but after.
And we actually got to talk to Uriah Faber a little bit about this too. If you haven't checked out that interview yet, we have it posted previous to this one, so it's worth a listen. He got so into the interview that we got cut off.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun.
That was first time ever.
Yeah.
I think it's because you went a little political with him.
Not really. I don't think it was that political.
That was when she cut us off. Was when you started talking political. She's like, guys, you got to wrap this up. You can't be talking about that. I mean, just stop.
I'm talking about anti-vaxxers.
Yeah, so okay, because he was just asking me about it because I didn't hear it because by the time I got it from her, it was edited.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, she left in the whole beginning where you're like you guys couldn't hear each other, but then there's
She
just
left
like,
in all that?
Yeah,
But cut out where
where she
cut us off.
What a shithead.
Anyway, so the payouts are saying if you have had 1 through 5 fights, you get $2,500.
Right.
If you've had 6 through 10, you get $5,000. 11 through 15, $10,000. 16 through 20, $15,000. 21 and above, $20,000. If you are a title challenger, you get $30,000, and if you are the champ, you get $40,000. A lot of people are not happy with this. First, the UFC responded and said, well, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that each fighter can have their own apparel and non-apparel sponsors outside the UFC deal. However, they are not allowed to represent those in the cage while participating in official sanctioned events, such as fight week activities. Every fighter's kit will be made available online for purchase. Retailers get to decide, though, whose kits they want to feature in stores. And fighters will receive 20 to 30% of gross merchandise sales. Dana White says, like, we understand that not everyone's going to be happy, but that's an impossibility. We tried to get as much intelligence as possible we could by talking to the managers and fighters over the 18-month period and creating an entire database in which we felt the market was fair for the fighters and the different tiers. We thought we did a pretty good job. So they can continue to keep their original sponsors. They just can't wear them in the cage during fight week. They also said that Reebok will guarantee that they will pay them within 10 days of appearing in any of the Reebok gear.
That's the one thing that comes out of everybody's mouth. That's the positive of this is
they know they're going to get paid.
It's guaranteed money, and other than what they can wear in, they can still maintain outside sponsors.
And they're saying that like not being able to wear it in the cage is hindering to them. But look, there's a teacher assistant who quit her job and makes 6 figures a year twerking on Instagram for product placement.
There you go.
So I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all can figure something out. With that being said, though, from my own experience, I was able to get $1,000 per fighter fighting at like Tai Chi or below Tai Chi.
Yeah, King of the Cage, Gladiator Challenge, even
Gladiator Challenge,
up and comers.
And I was able to get that money cash in hand and pay them before the fight.
Yeah.
So either I'm probably not doing it anymore because apparently I was really efficient at it. I guess that must be it because it boggles my mind to see that some of these guys struggle to get sponsors and struggle to get paid from those sponsors when I had no problem doing it. And it also kind of makes me go, if I was still doing it now and I had a guy who was going to fight in the UFC, I know I could get them more than $2,500.
Oh, yeah.
Because I got $1,000, no problem every time. So it kind of sucks for the lower tier fighters and trying to say, oh, well, they're going to have fighter kits. Who the fuck is buying a kit from a guy who's had 2 fights in the UFC?
Right.
No store's going to stock that.
Right.
You know, they're going to be stocking all the big names like Jones and Rousey. Well, not
right.
Jones
And they
right
can
now,
have their own deals outside of, too, is getting paid something like, obviously, John Jones has been dropped, but Ronda Rousey, Paige Van Zandt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Johnny Hendricks, they all have specific deals with Reebok on their own. I'm sure they're getting their own deal besides the deal they're getting from the
absolutely.
UFC because they've been chosen as fighters.
And Felice Herrig is one of the ones who's pushing supplements on her Instagram.
Yep.
And I'm sure
And
she's getting
Alienware
cash for
and
that.
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how they can do it to make up the money. But with that being said, I mean, 40 grand. Like Brandon Schaub
Twitter
making 6 figures
here's
a
Twitter.
fight.
Twitter went pretty much on fire after this. A lot of the fighters were not happy. Sarah Kaufman says, I definitely need to get more fights booked according to what counts. I'm only 6 since 2001. Definitely not enough. Robert Whiteford says, Reebok sponsorship deal is more money than I got paid fighting on European shows. I would like more money, hell yeah, but who wouldn't? Cody Gibson says the Reebok payout is compared to what many entry-level fighters are making in sponsorships. I can't speak for the veterans. And then you got stuff like, if Reebok deal kicked in today, this is Ben Folks of MMA, most UFC fighters on Ultimate Fight Night 65 would only get $2,500. The main event, Mark Hunt and Stephen Mayock, would only get $5,000. That's pretty low for your main event guy, especially guys' name is Mark Hunt and Stephen Mayock.
Right.
I mean, just because they're not,
It's kind of crazy to think that Sarah Kaufman's only making $5,000 right now.
Yeah, and then you got Stormin Norman Park says you're paid to fight. End of discussion. Stop bitching about sponsorship. You got guys that say Roger Navarez. He says, "Wow, only $2,500 for my next fight from Reebok. I made twice that off of one sponsor in my last fight. This sucks." I understand what the UFC is trying to do. Those numbers just hurt fighters like me who spend $2,000 to $3,000 on a fight camp just getting prepped. Brandon Schaub says, I made 6 figures in sponsorship in my last 6 fights. Tim Kennedy, I think, had one of the ones that says, dear UFC, I am to understand for my exclusive apparel sponsorship, I'm going to make $2,500. I will pass. Thanks for the generous offer. Scott Coker, I miss your face.
Plus, it's not only the clothing either. The banners change too, right?
They can't have anything.
Right. So, I mean, it's not just about clothing, because the UFC is going to put something in place of that banner.
Yeah, they pretty much put whatever.
What would be shitty is if they have to carry out the UFC banner that's got just a, insert name here
they were saying,
with their sponsors all the way around it.
Bud Light, Monster Energy, they're allowed to put on the Reebok clothes if they decide to, and the fighters aren't getting any of that. Oh, they're only getting paid for the Reebok portion.
That's pretty dirty.
Because they paid for the canvas.
Yep.
That's pretty dirty. I think that they're going to do this. They need to negotiate the same kind of deal for Monster and the same kind of deal for Bud Light.
Yeah.
To where everybody's getting a little percentage of that. But whatever.
So, we'll see how that thing, like I said, talking to Uriah Faber, he says he owns a couple clothing companies, the ones he wears. He says it is what it is, He's going to figure. He never got into this to make money. He got into this because he loves the sport. He's making money elsewhere.
Yeah,
just
I was
fine.
Say he got into the other 5 businesses to make money.
He's making money elsewhere.
The whole idea is like, especially with I forget who it was who said it was like, oh, you're paid to fight. It's like, yeah, that's great, but since this began with the UFC, you're getting paid to fight in the cage, but you also still have to pay for your camp somehow.
Except you have free health insurance.
Right. Everybody has free health insurance.
UFC pays for everything, though, remember?
Yeah, but they could be unemployed and have Obamacare and still be fine.
I love Obamacare. It's great.
I just don't know if I'd be fine.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the... this is happening right now? I don't know.
No.
I don't know how this works.
Live from Australia at 7 a.m. tomorrow, our time. That's
7 a.m. Pacific time.
Specific time. 7 a.m. This is going to be live on Fight Pass, both the main card and the prelims.
Here's a question for you. When you flush a toilet in Australia, it goes the opposite way down the drain.
Right.
So when the fighters circle each other, do they circle each other the opposite way?
We should find out.
We should find out.
Got to be watching this fight.
Let's pay attention here.
When they get a knockout, the birds go the other way around.
Are they little kiwis? Are they actual? What kind of birds are they?
It's dingoes.
Dingoes, just kangaroos jumping around. Be awesome. Be fantastic. So we'll go ahead and jump into this fight pass for tomorrow. Is the whole thing's on Fight Pass?
The whole thing's on Fight Pass.
Okay. Alpatikin Ozilic is fighting Ben Nguyen. You got Vic Grujic fighting Brendan O'Reilly. Then Alex Chambers going up against Kalen Karan. And then Dylan Andros going up against Brad Scott. Beck Rawlings coming back for a Lisa Ellis match.
Yeah, she was supposed to fight C. Ho Ham. However, Hamderley is out due to injury, so she got Lisa Ellis from The Ultimate Fighter the season she was on. There's been some bad blood on Twitter between these two. Lisa Ellis talking a lot of shit about how she feels that Beck Rawlings is a bad mom.
Oh, nice. Yeah. It's always a good thing to do.
Right.
How late of a replacement was Lisa Ellis?
It's been a little bit of time, so she's had plenty of time to train. Although in her last fight, she didn't look like she wanted to be there anyway. She didn't look like she wanted to be on the show anyway, so I really expect Lisa Ellis to lose this fight.
Really?
Yeah.
And then we got Dan Kelly going up against Sam Alvey. Kyle Noak goes going up against Jonathan Webb. You have Jonathan Webb in this fight over Kyle Noak.
Yep. Kyle Noak, man, he's just getting up there. He's been a decent fighter. To me, he's never been a really impressive fighter. He's one of those guys that's kind of mid-tier journeyman, and I just think as his age is catching up to him, he's starting to get further and further down the ladder.
Even fighting at home?
Even fighting. That's the only big advantage I give him is he is fighting at home. Webb, however, I think will just be able to take this fight.
All right. And then Hatsu Hioki is going up against Dan Hooker.
Yep.
And you have Hioki in that one as well.
Of course I do.
Moving on to your main event. Of course you do. The Asian sensation. Jake Matthews going up against James Vick You have Matthews in this fight.
Yep.
Care to elaborate?
It's both going to be. They're both really good stand-up fighters. I just think Matthews has a few more tools in the toolbox to be able to take this fight. He's a little bit better on the ground than Vic. Overall, I'm just going to take Matthews.
And then we have the Hippo Anthony Peroche going up against Sean O'Connell. You can never really bet against the Hippo when he's fighting at home.
It's a tough fight to call. I mean, Connell is really good in stand-up. Peroche's stand-up is slowly getting better. He's obviously a wizard on the ground, but he is fighting at home, and so I got to definitely go with the Hippo.
Yeah, and he's getting up there in age, but
he is getting up there in age.
I can't bet against him at home.
Yeah, the longer they get him, Anthony standing, the better fight it's going to be. Otherwise, the guy's going to get murdered on the ground.
Yeah. The next fight was also really hard for me to call. Actually, pretty much anything on the main card was tough for me to really pick.
Brad Tavares going up against Robert Whittaker. You got Brad Tavares.
Yeah, I do have Tavares. I think he can get it done. He's got a good 1-2 combo. Both these guys like to stand and bang. I think Whittaker is better on the ground and has a little bit better wrestling. Tavares lately has been doing pretty good with kind of a rinse and repeat sort of situation where he's winning decisions. It's going to be a close fight, but I just think Tavares can take it in the long run.
Yeah, he's been around a little bit longer, right?
Yeah.
Tavares has. Yeah.
I'm with Tavares in this one as well. And then Stipe Miocic is going up against Mark Hunt. This one was hard for you to pick?
It's just hard for me to pick. I love Mark Hunt. I'm always going to root for Mark Hunt. However, I think Stipe can out-wrestle him and grind him out and take a decision. I really do.
Do you think that he can get Mark Hunt down?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
Yeah. Really?
Mark Hunt's kickboxing is good. He's starting to slow down a little bit, and people are talking about, Mark Hunt's been knocked out in 3 fights. Okay, Melvin Manhoof way back in the fucking day. And then you have Junior Dos Santos who caught him with that heel that kind of knocked him on his butt, and he was able to follow it up. I wouldn't call it really a knockout. And then you had the one against Fabricio Verdum. Again, he hit him with that knee. He hit him with a bunch of punches. And you could tell that Mark Hunt, which we talked about this when he first came to the UFC, has trouble getting back up. I don't think he was unconscious. I think he was like, damn it, get off, stop it. Quit it.
And Stipe's ferocious.
Stipe's pretty ferocious. I think Stipe can definitely take this fight. My money would probably be on Stipe. However, I want Mark Hunt to win, and I hope he can get that one-punch knockout. However, who has Stipe gone up against that has the punching power of Mark Hunt? I mean, other than Junior Dos Santos, in which Stipe actually won that fight, unanimous decision.
Right.
And that was a tough fight for him, but Junior was still coming off that Kane loss. He didn't look like he was in his, in the right state of mind.
Yeah, but like you said, the night that he got the decision, he dodged the. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He ran. He Mayweathered basically. Yeah. I mean, they made exchanges and everything.
But
and it was a good fight.
Yeah.
But he knew he couldn't stay in the danger zone
of Junior Dos Santos.
Goose did not have a 6.
Hands.
Right.
I think he's got to stay definitely away from Mark Hunt enough to not get hit by those heavy hands, and I think he has the ability to do so. But I'm going Mark Hunt.
Still going Mark Hunt.
Still going Mark Hunt.
Taking Stipe.
Stipe's smart bet. Mark Hunt, though, that one-punch power kind of worries me up against Stipe. I'm divided on this one, but I'll go with you on Hunt. So that's happening 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you have Fight Pass, if you don't have Fight Pass, you're fucked. But thanks for listening.
Bite, you cheap fuck.
I like what you used yesterday. Set your toaster, set your coffee
makers. I have to give credit to Dodge on that one. He wrote that line. So yeah, thanks for listening. Of course, spread the word. Tell your friends. You can get us on Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes. You can find us on our website, which is splitdecisionmma.com. Give us a like on Facebook, Split Decision MMA Podcast, or find us on Twitter and Instagram, SD_MMA. Big thanks to Americana.rocks. And, of course, one of the companies we talked to Uriah Faber about was Memory Sag. Worth checking out again if you want to look for a greeting card.
Still investing.
Yeah, look for a greeting card that doesn't suck. That's a greeting card that doesn't suck. So, big thanks for listening. And from the Rula Family Inc. Studios, it is Bueller and Dodge saying have a good night. We'll see you at the fight.
Thanks for listening, Singapore.